Aston Villa 0, Arsenal 1. That's a very good win, Janusz, for Arsenal. What impressed you most about their performance today?
I think how in control they were throughout the entire game, right? I mean, of course, the last 15, 20 minutes with some of the substitutions and a little bit of nervousness, that's the nature of every game. No matter how much you dominate the game, there comes a time towards the end that obviously Villa were going to, try to desperately get an equalizer. But I think, the control of the game, and what surprised me, not just in this game, but in general as of late, even in that Liverpool game, let's face it, I thought Arsenal played very well in that game. Lost ultimately because Liverpool, are a great team. But I think what the control in the center of the pitch, and I'm not talking about just Partey and Xhaka, but just the entire midfield, right? I mean, it was a block defensively that Villa couldn't get through. They had to go around them, and even in the wide areas, they couldn't do it, could they? Matty Cash wasn't the best going forward today. Ashley Young either as well. So I think the way they protected space in the middle of the pitch, Odegaard dropping in and then Saka pinching in and Emil Smith-Rowe. So I just think that defensive solidity, if you will, was very good.
I think control, the word that you used, is an excellent word to describe the way Arsenal dealt with the threat of Aston Villa. Another word is unity. And I'm watching Arsenal develop, and these young players, a lot of them are young, develop this season. There is this unity that you, as a former professional footballer, will know. When you've got it, it can be special.
Yes, it can be. We often use momentum and maybe overuse it as well, but it's important because that's how it goes, right? Early in the season, I think it was almost, players always believe, but when things don't go your way, you tend to think, well, here we go again. Last couple of seasons finishing 8th. Yeah, maybe we're not good enough. It's going to be an uphill battle. And when it turns for you, and sometimes, it's obviously due to training and couple results, when it turns for you, you are starting to believe. The young players are getting more comfortable that they can play against anyone. Sometimes you say to yourself, you know what, I am good enough, right? And then it comes the naysayers and will say, well, they can't beat the big teams, the Liverpools, Manchester City. But, at the end of the day, who cares? I mean, look at that result against Liverpool, as I said, right? This is just 2 days rest, right? Played well against Liverpool and lost. And it was easy to now say, how are we going to react? And look at that reaction right now. It wasn't surprising to me in a way, because I felt they did okay. And losing to the big teams, that's the next step. When I say, Mark, who cares? When I say who cares, as long as they finish 4th, nobody's going to remember the fact that you've lost to cities or Liverpools or Chelsea. It doesn't really matter.
No, and they extend their lead on the team below them, Manchester United in 5th. Arsenal now 4 points clear in 4th, and possibly with their eye on Chelsea as well. And a good clean sheet for the backup goalkeeper, Bernd Leno, with Mikel Arteta confirming that a hip problem will probably keep Aaron Ramsdale out until after the international break. So that's a blow for England and for Arsenal. Are you okay with Bernd Leno being a decent backup for the Gunners, given he knows what the #1 jersey is all about at that place?
Well, but that's another way of evolution in a way of this Arsenal team, right? Because ahead of the game, it's not just Ramsdale, but Gabriel Martinelli, who was incredibly good against Liverpool. I mean, he was the reason that Trent probably pulled his hamstring, because he was that good, in the wide area. So you have this player not available, 2 key players, as I've said, 2 days after the game against Liverpool. So there were plenty of excuses here coming to Villa, because Villa, both teams were in good form. They lost their last games, but previous to that, they've been on a pretty good, run. So yes, Bernd Leno, obviously there's going to be question marks. Didn't have to worry today. Made the saves that he's supposed to make, but let's face it, Villa were really, really poor, right? Just 1 shot on target, I think, 0 in the first half. Didn't really create anything in that game. So for as long as the team performs in front of him the way they did today, I don't think we need to talk about Leno just yet.
I think when Saka scored, Arsenal they started the game well, and they had a period of control, I suppose is the best word. And it's a decent enough goal. I kept expecting Villa to, right, that's it. Now they'll come back into. Then at halftime, you think, okay, a team talk from Steven Gerrard. They'll come flying out the blocks. they never really got going today. Is that due to their deficiencies or due to the kind of strangulation of the Arsenal tactics?
Yes, it was part of that. That midfield, as we've said, I mean, we've talked about Jacob Ramsey. He's been great. Today, he was poor in his passing, conceded control a couple of times. Douglas Luiz, it wasn't himself, that's for sure. McGinn, I think maybe one of those that looked dangerous from time to time. Couple of strikes right on goal, if I remember, or just wide. But in general, they lost that battle in the midfield as well. I think right now, Steven Gerrard has almost the entire team healthy for the most part. I mean, look at Dean, very, very important, useful player, especially today, I think, in the wide areas. They could have used him, I suppose. But I think for now, if I think of Aston Villa and Steven Gerrard, he's going to really have to come up quickly with his best 11, because it's not all that easy to pick, right? On surface, when you look, I think they're just as talented as Arsenal. Think about that. I mean, in terms of depth in the squad, maybe even better. Who knows? I mean, Leon Bailey and Bertrand Traore came in. They did make a difference. That's for sure. But I don't necessarily know what the best starting 11 is, in particular going forward. Buendia came in, again, not great. Ali Watkins was just okay. Danny Ings came in, made a difference. Now you have Leon Bailey, who certainly can do that. Bertrand Traore. I think it was just a sort of team that was lacking a little bit of direction today.
What's their goal for this season, given where they've been and where they are now and what they've got left, Aston Villa?
Well, it's going to be disappointing, because I think it's going to be difficult to make Europe. If you look at, if you look at the table and how many points before the game, I think there were, I don't know, like 12 points or something like that out of Europe in general. And as I just mentioned, all the names, all the players, the squad, they should be much, much better. They were, a few weeks back, they were even lower, right? I mean, kind of almost looking over their shoulder as well. So Steven Gerrard just coming in, I suppose we are truly going to be judging them next season, but there will be no excuses. This team is too good to be where they are right now.
Let's end with Arsenal. It'll be a surprise, won't it, if they don't finish fourth or in the top four?
It will be. Look, great reaction after Liverpool. Think about that. 4 points ahead of Manchester United right now, game in hand. And let's not forget, tomorrow, two teams kind of behind them. Spurs are playing West Ham. So something's got to give there, I suppose. A winner will get closer, but if there's a draw in that game, I don't think Arsenal will mind it.
A very good day for Arsenal in the Midlands. 3 points to take back to North London to extend the gap over the teams below them.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.